Good evening, seekers of serenity and happiness. Tonight we're going to cover, or start covering perhaps, the topic of depression. Like happiness, it's a misunderstood word and it affects a lot of people. Most people understand depression to mean feeling down, feeling sad, feeling maudlin. What it really is, though, it's a clinical term, and it means that your entire biochemical system is depleted. It's a bit like, think of a garden or a farmer's field that has had a lot of use and has not had the nutrients put back in, so it is not really capable of producing good healthy crops anymore. There are a lot of other analogies you could make. A car that needs servicing it basically is when you are run down, and that can have a lot of different effects on your performance day to day. Not just on your emotions. It can be that if you don't maintain your body carefully, you become weaker. You can put strain on your joints, which can then over time lead to conditions such as arthritis and inflammation. So that's the clinical definition of depression. What most people mean by depression, though, is this state of sadness. And depending on who you listen to, the cause of the sadness can be anything from this idea of seasonally affected disorder, which is caused by a lack of ultraviolet light and vitamin D during the winter months, which would imply that people living in the tropics and near the equator would never suffer from this at all. And it would also imply that it should fall at a certain time. However, some people do not have this during the winter months, but it can be delayed. And the other thing as well is that many people they suffer from this form of depression on a yearly basis, and may or may not be to do with biorhythms, but things come and go in cycles. So the first and most important weapon against it is being aware of when it happens. The second is also being aware of the fact that it is cyclical and it will pass. It's very, very rare to be permanently emotionally down, and for that reason that lends some sort of support to the argument that it is based on something, perhaps exposure to ultraviolet light. I don't know. Maybe clinical trials have been done on this, and maybe there are reports which back it up. I'm sure it's true for some people, but not for others. And I know that I personally do not get seasonally affected disorder in the winter months, but once a year, usually around June, July, but it fluctuates for up to 6 weeks. I'm not quite as cheerful as normal. So the next question is there anything we can do about it? And in order to answer that, it's important to realize that, one, like everything else in life, one one condition is not universal in everybody. For example, if someone gets a cough or a cold, it will vary from person to person according to whether they're male or female, according to their body mass, according to their height, and many other factors, how strong their immune system is, which brings us to the next part, which is diet. How healthy is your diet? You are, as they say, what you eat. And when it comes down to building some form of immunity against conditions such as depression, the intake, the fuel, and the building blocks that the proteins, etc., that you put into your body certainly affect your body's ability to fight off and resist conditions where you're run down. Again, with the garden, if you take the garden or the field and you put in some fertilizer, then the field or the garden is able to produce better crops, because the mineral content, and I presume it's minerals, maybe something else, I don't know, I'm not that much of a gardener, but that is replenished, and it gives the soil a better framework, a better content for supporting a life of the plants that you put in. So that is kind of a start of a look at the subject. There are other things as well. So tomorrow we will look at some of the others, but we'll possibly, well, more than certainly continue with the things that you're putting into your body. But you will find that there's a certain amount of repetition with the start of these episodes, insofar as your habits, etc., also affect your body's strength and your ability, therefore, to cope with stress. Okay, so on that note, at 7 minutes and 33 seconds, I will say, if you find this useful and you think that the world could do with being a bit more relaxed and a bit less stressful or stressed out, then please like and subscribe and tell the algorithm that that is your opinion. Okay, thank you and good night.